looks like a glazed donut.
Hello, everyone. I'm popping on here again to tell a fun Texas Jam story. But really, what it all started with was last weekend's Black Sabbath live stream, which really was so awesome. Even had to break out the shirt again. But that caused me to go back through all the Ozzy Sabbath albums this week. In the heavies, by the way, in the heavies, I want to thank Heavies yet again for the ongoing, continuous rediscovery of everything that I thought I knew about music. But turns out I have a lot to learn about music because everything I listen to is a new experience now. And the Black Sabbath catalog has been no different. But I've been listening to that all week, and because I just got so fired up from that show last weekend. And then I revisited some Ozzy. I revisited Bark at the Moon and The Ultimate Sin, and was quickly reminded of how much that I loved Jakey Lee, when I was a kid. Back then, man, I mean, those are such great albums, and I didn't remember a lot of those songs, man, especially on Bark at the Moon. Those are just killer guitar albums, man. And a fun little note about Bark at the Moon, I have the original CD that I got, back then, and I also have the remastered Bark at the Moon that has the bonus tracks on it. So the first one I popped on was the remastered, and I'm listening to it, and I'm going, man, it didn't sound like I remembered it, and I do know that Ozzy, tricked up those remasters of Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. They re-recorded all the drums, why would you do that? But I'm not sure what the story is with those remasters, Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin, but it surely sounded like there's some shenanigans going on in there, because, I mean, the drums and the bass sounded really fat and full, it sounded killer, but the guitar was like, I don't know, it was just like muddy, or just, it wasn't there. It wasn't like I remembered it, So I took it off and I put on the original one, and I was like, oh, well, there it is, I mean, the drums were back to sounding like those, dry, stale, early 80s drums, but the guitar was there. I was like, that's what I remembered, man, because the guitar's just biting. All those leads and those rhythms are so killer. And but so there's something going on with that, with the remasters. I don't know, but it was weird. But anyway, after doing that, I started thinking about the Texas Jam, and we moved here in 1980, and so my first Texas Jam wasn't until 1984. That was my first one, and that was Rush and Ozzy. And I had met Jakey Lee the day before that jam at some record store, and I took his picture and got his autograph and talked to him and all that. And another thing I remember is that I bought Boston's first album on cassette that day too. I don't know why I always remember that, but I remember that. That'll tie in here in a second. But anyway, I was thinking about that jam and Ozzy and, the Jakey Lee times, and I went to the last 5 jams. I went to the 84 was my first one. The second one was the Deep Purple jam. The third one that I went to is 86 was the Van Halen 5150 jam, and that was the one with the infamous cup fight, if anybody was there. I was there with Lance with that one. We were on the lower deck, right in the middle of the war zone, and I remember getting smacked in the face several times by cups of ice, man. And then I remember somebody threw a bottle into the upper deck, and you just heard it, and the whole crowd went, oh. It was kind of like a collective, whoa, man, not cool. and then it kind of slowly died down after that. But I remember that. But the jam I want to take you to is the next year, 1987, which was Boston. See how that tied in there? It was Tesla, Poison, Whitesnake, Aerosmith, and Boston. And I was into all that, except maybe Poison. I wasn't really into Poison, but I was into all the rest of it. And I was fired up, man. I couldn't wait to see this one. So back in the day, kids, when we got tickets to concerts, we had to go stand in line. Sometimes camp out, but definitely get there super early and stand in line for tickets. Or, you could try to call if your mom would let you use her credit card or whatever. You could try to call, but you would have to call relentlessly. You would get nothing but a busy signal over and over and over and over. And if you were lucky enough, you might get in and be able to get tickets. But in my case, getting tickets was at the Sears at the Northeast Mall. And you would line up outside. They would bring you in. It was all roped off, and it would take you to the escalator. And then you would go up to the next level, all the way in the back where the little Ticketmaster office was. And that's where we got our tickets. So for this jam, getting tickets, I didn't have a car. I mean, it was 1987. I didn't have a license or a car yet. I was like a junior in high school. My friend that was going with me, Greg Ruggiero, he was a grade behind me. So it was me and Greg. And Greg, I don't know, I was told he passed away. My friend JC told me that he had heard he had passed away like a long time ago in the 90s. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that. If anybody knows Greg and can confirm all that to me, that would be great. But I was told that. I mean, I can't find him on social media, and he's a musician, so that would be pretty strange. So if you're no longer with us, brother, rest in peace, man. But you're involved in this story. It was me and Greg was a rock and roll heavy metal dude like me. He had long black hair, but he would tease it up into this giant mohawk like Steve Stevens, and he would wear the sleeveless jean jackets, with the patches on it and stuff like that. I mean, he was, I was probably wearing an Aussie shirt and Jams and Converse I would probably guess was something like that I was wearing. So we were just two heavy metal kids, and we couldn't find anybody to take us to get tickets, which is kind of strange. So we were gonna walk to the mall from my parents' house. He was gonna stay the night with me, and we were gonna walk to the mall to get tickets, which, I mean, I don't know how, I'm not good at distances or anything, but from my mom's house in Colleyville to the Northeast Mall is probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles, give or take. I don't know. Long ass walk, I know that. And so we were gonna leave in the middle of the night and go to the mall and get tickets. And I guess my mom knew about it because, this wasn't gonna be anything we were gonna like sneak out and come back and nobody knew we were gone. I mean, if we were gonna do this, it was gonna probably take most of the day to do this, So we left, and anybody that knows the area will know the route, right? We lived in Colleyville on Timberline South, and it was a horseshoe street, Timberline North and South, and we lived right at the bottom. So we had to leave, and we'd walk all the way up to the top of the hill and down and around until we come to Bransford Road. And then we hang a right at the police station right there. And it goes down and around until you hit Highway 26, Grapevine Highway, right? And we walked Grapevine Highway all the way down to Precinct Line Road at the 7-Eleven. And like, these are the landmarks, because back then there was nothing out there on this route. I mean, there were some things, but it was a lot of wide open space. There was nothing there. Like nowadays it's unrecognizable, but back then, man, it was wide open. It was quite a crazy ass walk down 26 at that time. But we left at probably, I don't know, 1 in the morning, midnight. And I guess my mom said, hey, don't get in any trouble. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, she had to know we were doing this. But nobody would give us a ride. I don't even know what happened there. But anyway, so we started, we're walking down 26. We hit the precinct line, hang a left at the 7-Eleven, and it goes on down, down, down. I don't know how far till you get to the funeral home, and you hang a right at the Bedford-Euless Road. And then you got, what, 6 blocks or so, and the mall's right there, right? So we're doing this walk, and there was absolutely nothing going on. Not one single car, nothing. We saw 2 cops, and neither one of them even looked at us or stopped or anything. You know, we were kind of hoping one of them might, and, you know, maybe give us a little, you know, a little ride up the road a little bit. But, you know, we encountered absolutely no one on the entire walk, which would never happen today, man. There's people everywhere all the time. But so we finally get to the mall, and I don't know what time it is, man. It's probably 5:30, you know, somewhere around there, because it's still dark, and you could tell the sun was maybe trying to get ready to maybe come up, you know, so it was probably 5:36 right in there. And we get to the mall, and we come up over the little grass hill, and there's cops everywhere. Cops, mall cops, man, it might as well have been the National Guard. There were just cops everywhere. And we came up over the hill, and they're like, no, you can't come in here. We're not letting anybody in here until 7 o'clock. We're like, 7 o'clock, and they were letting no one in. They had every entrance blocked. No one was getting in that parking lot until 7 o'clock. And so we're standing there going, okay. And they're saying, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here, sending us off. So we started just walking around. I don't know what we were going to do. And we're sitting there, and this dude rolls up on us in a yellow, this like shit yellow car, like a Datsun or something. He rolls up on us like, hey man, you guys getting jam tickets? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, they're not letting anybody in the parking lot till 7 o'clock, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. We just walked all the way here from Colleyville. He's like, well, get on in, dude. We'll drive around. I'll try to find like a back way in or something. Like, okay, cool. So we hop in the car with this dude. It's total 80s shit there. But, you know, he's a kid like us. So he's driving around, he's hauling ass everywhere, trying to find a way into the mall. And everywhere is blocked. And he goes around the side, and finally they started letting people in, and he just hauls ass in there. We jumped out and got in line. We were pretty close to the front of the line. And he parked right in front and got out. You know, we sat together and finally got in and got our tickets. Hallelujah. And so afterwards, man, he was cool enough to take us home, because we had but we didn't think this through at all. We were just going to walk home, you know, in the freaking blazing hell heat. But he was cool enough to take us home, which was cool. And dude, I don't know if you're still around or this ever reaches your ears, but if you ever hear this and you remember this, please hit me up, because I'd love to talk about it. But so anyway, got the tickets. Got 3 tickets, one for me, one for Greg, and one for my friend Martin Blake, who was going to drive. So now part 2 of this story, the Texxas Jam. So we go to the Jam. Martin's driving. We're fired up. We're ready to go. We roll up to the McDonald's across the street from the Jam, if anybody remembers that. And there's just people everywhere. You know how it was, man. Cars and people everywhere, dude. And he just rolled in and parked, and we went inside to get something to drink. And we were probably in there not even 3 or 4 minutes, and came out, and there's his car on the back of a tow truck. The dude's finishing up doing all the shit, and he's about to just take the car, dude. And we ran over there. Hey man, what are you doing? You can't take the car. Oh man, you can't park there. I'm like, dude, we were just in there for a minute. There's people everywhere. Well, you know, you can't park there. I'm like, so what are we supposed to do, man? You got to pick it up at the tow yard. And like, what tow yard? And it's like, I don't know, shithead towing or whatever the hell's on the side of the truck. And we're going, man, can we ride with you at least? Nope, can't take anybody with us. When he takes off. And we're watching his car being towed down some street in South Dallas. And we're going, so now what? I'm like, shit. And he told us, we asked him how much it was going to be to get out, and I don't remember what it was back then, $50 or $75. I don't know. We didn't have money for that. And so we just started walking the direction that this truck took his car. So here's 3 little freaking heavy metal hippie white boys wandering around South Dallas aimlessly. And honestly, man, in a lot of places that we probably shouldn't have been in, looking for this tow yard, and nobody knew where it was. And I don't know how long we were wandering around, but we finally walked into this rib joint out there and talked to the dude in there, and he finally told us where, you know, where exactly it was. So we finally got there, and there was a Western Union or something was on the way, because he got money wired to him, Martin. He got money wired to him to get the car out somehow. I think it happened some way like that. We finally get to the tow yard, and there's the dumbass that towed the car. You know, he's back there, you know, just being a dumbass. And I was like, okay, look, dude, here's $50, whatever. And he goes, oh, I can't give you the car without the title. Like, the title? Like, dude, don't have the title on me. He goes, well, I can't give you the car without the title. And this is going back and forth, and we're sitting there, what the fuck do we have to do, man? And so he ends up giving him double the money. Like, well, can I just give you like $100, you know, whatever it was, 150, $100. And he's like, well, right this way, Mr. Blake. I'm going, are you serious, man? You know, gouging at concert events is what it was. So he finally gets his car out after we've been wandering around South Dallas, probably lucky to be alive, honestly. And we get back, finally get to the Cotton Bowl, and get into our seats, because we had seats for this one. Get into our seats, and we had missed Tesla completely, and Poison was about almost done. I think I remember Paul Stanley being on stage with Poison. They were doing some Kiss song, but so I do remember seeing just a little bit of Poison, but we were able to see the rest of it, which was great, and finally got to see Boston, and it was, yeah, it was killer. But anyway, that was just, I was just thinking about that story because I've been kind of going down the, I mean, I don't know, it's probably, you know, a little bit of, you know, rapid onsetting old man syndrome, but I mean, it's nice to be reminded of how important those bands and stuff were, at least to me, you know. So, that is my Texas Jam story. I know anybody that's been to a Texas Jam has a story, but that was just one funny one. That was just I remember writing it on my shoe, because the Converse, we used to like paint acrylic paint shit on those, you know, on the whole, you know, all the time. So I wrote on there something like the Boston Walkathon Texas Jam 1987. I don't even know if that shoe, if I have that somewhere packed away. If I find that, I'm gonna post that, because that was just a crazy. The whole thing was crazy. From getting tickets to going to the show was insane. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Talking Shit with Chris. Thanks for hanging out, and if I think of anything else, I'll be sure to post another 20-minute video, okay? All right. Peace out, hippies.